Well, my niece passed not too long ago, and her sister asked me to do her eulogy. And I want especially friends and family to pay special attention to this video. And I declined to do the eulogy. And the reason why I declined is because on Saturdays, I'm not supposed to eulogize the dead. And I said, yeah, at first I did say yes. And then once I learned about I wasn't supposed to do that, then I had to say no. Hopefully that we gave enough time to find somebody else to do the eulogy. And she did. She found somebody else in the family, which I was grateful for. But upon arriving there, another relative, my cousin, she asked me if the other person doesn't show up on time, if I could, do a little reading of scripture and this, and those kind of things. And I tell you, I handled that kind of silly. I was, in the hallway or on the way in when all this happened. So I just, she just caught me off guard kind of. And when she asked me that, and I just told her, I say, I can't do it because I'm Jewish now. And she probably thought I wasn't doing anything Christian because I was Jewish. But for me, Christianity and Jewishness goes hand in hand because I've seen Jesus. I know he's the Messiah. So me doing Christian things is not a problem. Christian, Jewish, okay? But the problem came in as far as me eulogizing and doing those kind of things on Saturday. That was the big issue. But I did end up saying a few words of my memory of her. And I made sure I made it kind of brief because I didn't want to get in trouble with the big guy upstairs. And, at one time on a Saturday, it was Shabbat. And, to whom much is given, much is going to be required. And I live by that, and all y'all should too as well. Because on one Shabbat, I remember pushing the lawnmower. I wasn't actually doing the grass. My husband probably had did the grass. And, I was out there with the lawnmower, was trying to push it back to the area where it came from, always trying to be helpful, doing things, even though maybe I shouldn't have been doing it, but I was pushing it back to the area that it belonged. And it was on a little small hill, and it was a little wet right there. I pushed it and my knee went down, boom, injured my knee. And when I injured my knee, I ended up in a praying position, and I injured it kind of bad. And I can only say in my head, I really believe it was God letting me know to take Shabbat seriously. No work, none of that eulogizing on Saturday, certain things. Now, everybody have their own things in their head, what they think they should and shouldn't be doing on Shabbat. If I know for sure that this is something I should not be doing, and I knew I shouldn't have been doing those two things, but I did do it. And so I believe I was punished for that by me falling on my knee at that time. Jesus healed the sick on Shabbat. And I know he healed the sick on Shabbat. And a lot of people said at that time he shouldn't have been doing that. But that's one thing I would do as well. I would heal somebody on Shabbat if I had that same power that Jesus has. You can heal somebody on Shabbat if it's something that, like an emergency. You can cook on Shabbat if it's an emergency. Somebody comes in your house. Somebody's just famished and so hungry. You just do the best you can do by people. But with the things I did that particular time, I shouldn't have been doing on that day. And I also wanted to let my family know that, upon my passing, when it's time to bury me, make sure it's not on a Saturday, make sure it's not on Shabbat, and we good.